entire timeline all over the place? Because they made them out of order. What is my favorite Star Wars film? Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Number 2 would be Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, which John and I need to watch because we just watched 5. And then after 6, I really like 9. And I really like 7. But I also really like 1 and 2. For me, episode 4 is probably the worst. But I don't think that there's a bad Star Wars.
Rogue One.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue One's my least favorite Star Wars movie. But in terms of like the episodic ones, I'd say probably A New Hope. Just because it's a tough watch. It doesn't age that well. And then I like The Last Jedi to a degree. I understand the qualms that people have with it. To me, though, I'm able to make connections that the writer probably didn't intend. So that's why I can actually find joy in it, whereas other people just hate it. But then again, like, a lot of people don't like the originals because the quality, and people don't like the prequels for whatever reason. They're beautiful. Are they still making movies? Yes. I think they're making a 10, 11, 12. They were supposed to be 2023, but with COVID they got delayed. We're thinking 2025 for those. But yeah, man, they still make content to this day. They just finished the Kenobi series. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Hopefully we get some Kenobi stuff in the game. That'd be pretty lit. Yeah, Star Wars is getting a lot of love right now. A lot of love right now. Well deserved. Well deserved. Now, just really quickly, I'm going to... Where is... the marker? Added a quick marker. Your son's name is actually Lucas. That's sick. That's very sick. I've been thinking about giving my son the middle name Anakin. I think that'd be pretty cool. Or if I have a daughter, middle name Padme. Even Ahsoka middle name, that'd be pretty cool. Ahsoka's like my... It's hard for me to nail a top 5 Star Wars characters, because number 1's easily Anakin. I love Anakin. I think Qui-Gon is the shit. I love Luke. Leia is also very cool. Starkiller's tight. I love Revan. I love Kylo Ren. Rey is very cool. Ahsoka, though, is just... I fuck with Ahsoka. Darth Nihilus is cool. I love me some Thrawn. which I think is what makes Ahsoka also pretty cool, is because they're like enemies. They're polar opposite enemies in terms of like why they fight and who they fight for. Ahsoka fights for others, and she fights to kind of just keep people free from oppression and free from being held down or held back. Whereas Thrawn, he fights for knowledge and power. So it's a very interesting little contrast that they have, but it's a super cool contrast. And Kenobi is just so cool. I think that man, Kenobi's just so influential to the entirety of Star Wars, man. Like, this is a dude who was almost not even a Jedi in the first place, because he wasn't that powerful, he wasn't that strong with the Force, he wasn't that talented, but because he was just such a hard learner and because he was so focused, he was able to make it happen. And similar to Qui-Gon, like, he fell in love very early on into his Jedi training, and was able to, I mean, to the best of his ability, mask that and try not to let his feelings come between what him and his goals were, which was to become a Jedi Master and to make Qui-Gon proud and to train Anakin. But there was times throughout not only his time as a Padawan, but his time as a knight and a master, where Obi-Wan, like, when things were getting super political, Obi-Wan was seriously considering leaving the Order to go be with Satine. And I hope that we get some sort of flashback in season 2 of Kenobi, if they do a season 2, to Qui-Gon and Kenobi's time on Mandalore, because there's just so much about Kenobi that the average person doesn't really know. But again, he's just such a pivotal character because he essentially was given the keys to the balance of the Force, the balance of the galaxy, and he did the best job that he could. But there was just so much to Anakin that was already lost when they took him away from his mother, when, you know, he was an older youngling at the academy getting bullied by others for being the quote-unquote chosen one, having masters and knights, and other Padawans like hate Anakin because of the special attention and treatment that he was getting. And maybe if someone like Qui-Gon was still around to foster that and protect Anakin from that, rather than embrace that and like use it as fuel the way that Kenobi made Anakin do, I think that, you know, things would have been different. And it sucks. But again, the beauty in Star Wars is it's not a concurrent event. It is a telling of the past of what's already happened. That's why they tell the story out of place, because they need to give you the important tidbits before they fill you in with the context. And that's why they started with episode 4, 5, and 6 before doing 1, 2, and 3, because they needed to show you how this brooding, evil, dangerous, malicious character, Darth Vader, can come from someone that is so caring, generous, thoughtful, and loving as Anakin Skywalker. And it shows like how everyone has a choice and how everyone has two different paths that they can go down, and it shows the consequences and the undoing of what a bad decision can do. And ultimately, like, you can't even fault Anakin for doing what he did, because he was doing what he was doing out of love for Padme and out of fear of not wanting to lose another person close to him in his life. He already lost his mother. He lost Qui-Gon, and that was the father that he never had, and the mother that he wished he had for a lot longer than just 9 years when he was taken from Tatooine. Is Darth Vader even the most powerful in the series? So no, Anakin Skywalker was the most powerful Force user ever, and he didn't even touch his potential. But when he was cut down into Darth Vader, he lost a lot of his power, and he had to regain the Force again via the dark side. But very, very, very close to Anakin on the power level scale is Rey. Like, Rey was and is extremely powerful. Similar to Kenobi, not just through genetics or anything, but through extreme focus and dedication. Like, one of the things that I really liked about the sequels, and people always complain, like, damn, why is Rey so powerful? Like, why is Rey doing stuff that Luke couldn't do? Well, one little tidbit that people didn't really pick up was when Rey took the sacred Jedi texts, and Luke didn't know. Luke still thought that they were in the... And spoilers, by the way. Luke still thought that they were in the little tree temple that he burnt down. Or that Yoda burnt down, actually. Luke goes, "But Master, the Jedi texts." And Yoda says, "Read them, did you?" And Luke says, "Well, no, but..." So, Luke was powerful because he was a Skywalker. He had a natural proponent to reaching his potential in the Force. Whereas Rey, even though, yes, she was who she was, via who she was, she was also extremely dedicated, extremely focused, and that learner who was not only taught by Luke, but was also taught by Leia, and just had the most supreme focus out of any learner possible. And that's why I think she's such a brilliant character, is because she draws so many comparisons to other Jedi. Like, she is able to harness the light and the dark like Windu. She was an extremely good student and super focused and hardworking like Kenobi, but she also showed the raw strength and potential like Luke and Anakin always could. So that's why I think that Rey is just such a captivating character. And then on the flip side, you have Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, who, similar to Luke, but inverse of Luke. He has that raw potential. He has that raw strength and power. But instead of being humble with it like Luke was, Ben was cocky. You know, Ben was a bully. He was prone to throw temper tantrums if he didn't get what he wanted or get the right treatment in the academy. and he was spoiled. Whereas Luke, he really didn't have any of that. Like, Luke didn't have his mom and dad. He had Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. Whereas Ben had an entire family system around him. He had a mom, he had a dad, he had an uncle that all loved him and nurtured him and cared for him and wanted the best out of him. So I think it's again, just brilliant writing. Brilliant writing. And ultimately, what ends up like causing the downfall of Ben is that Luke, like his father, cared so much about the people that he loved that he didn't want to see them go, and he made a mistake by showing that vulnerability to his nephew, and that's ultimately what caused his nephew to turn to the dark side. Was seeing his uncle be so vulnerable to the point where he pulls his saber out on him, even though it was for a brief moment, even though it was a mistake. Like, that's all he needed. He needed proof of what Snoke was telling him was true, even though it wasn't true. It was just manipulation. Star Wars is beautiful, man. And sorry for that like 20-minute tangent about Star Wars, but when you get me going, bro, it's hard to slow me down. And I could honestly talk about Star Wars all day. I adore it.